Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to our continuing reviews of Daredevil Born Again, joined as always with my partner in stopping crime, maybe you could say. From Smirking on Reviews, it's Rob Stone. I gotta remember which side of the screen you're on.
Right? Yeah, it's a little jarring because it's all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I used to look over there.
Yeah, I know.
It's
When I host, I'm on this side. When you host, you're on this side. It makes it all crazy.
Yep. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us live and for everyone joining us in the archives. If you're enjoying this chat, as always, we ask that you like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, hit all of the buttons except that thumbs down one. We don't like that one, but that would be great. Anyway, after our Daredevil chat, we're going to do a brief little discussion on the Doomsday, the Avengers Doomsday news that dropped this morning. I mean, it's not a lot of news, but it's a little bit to talk about. But in the meantime, we had a doubleheader this week. We had 2 episodes. Little bit shorter episodes. I think they clocked in about 35-ish minutes once you do the intro and the credits and all the things like that. But I thought they were great, kind of almost episodic episodes. They were good, like Matt adventure episodes. Or at least the first one certainly was, and then we get a little bit more payoff, I think, in the second. But yeah, let's start off talking about With Interest, our first episode that had a little crossover visit. What did you think about our nice little bank heist episode?
Well, as you can see, I called it Inside Man too. Because a lot of this felt like, okay, just to start out, I mean, I liked it. There it is. I really liked it.
Sure.
The first thing I said, without any context, right? It was just St. Patty's Day, la 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 la, and then boom. And I'm seeing Matt sit at a desk, and I said to Bill, Matt Murdock gets a bank loan. And I didn't know where we were. I guessed it right. It was an accident. I wasn't being a jerk or anything. I was just like, Matt gets a bank loan. Because as soon as I saw him, that line from Anchorman popped into my head. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. That's how fast my mind works sometimes. And then it was like, wait a minute, he's really going for a bank loan. Oh. But I also really liked seeing Kamala Khan's dad back.
Yusuf, man.
I'm not the biggest Miss Marvel show fan, but I really like the actors in that show. I really liked her parents, and he was like the really big standout. He was the big, he's the one who dressed up like the Hulk, right? Like he's the big backer of all this. He's the one with the energy. He has so much personality, and it was really nice to see them open up the world to show that you are going to run into people like in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
If you are here, you might run into so-and-so and here and there. So I really liked all the aspects of that. I really liked our villain because I liked him in that first scene we saw him in, where he just being how quiet and dangerous he was with that smarm and charm, and then boom. I really liked all of that. I liked... There's a lot to really like in that episode, even if it really is a plot just for further pushing Matt towards where he's going.
Well, but I think
only a little.
Yeah, I mean, that was to me kind of the fun part about it, is that it did get our progression, which really paid off in our second episode. But it was also like you could almost do this anywhere. This could be any day of the life in Matt Murdock, whether he's Daredevil or not Daredevil in that particular time. And it's really nice that it's self-contained. It's a little adventure. I mean, it's a perfect comic book. This is a perfect comic book episode. And speaking of Yusuf, it took me a second to actually go like, oh my God. Because to me, they made the right choice. And this is the one thing that I wanted to kind of touch on in the beginning of this is whenever you have character crossovers from, 2 different things, often you have different style. Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, is a very different, it's a very playful, very bright style, very much in contrast to Daredevil. Yet on the other hand, She-Hulk, probably a little bit more Ms. Marvel-esque, and we already had Daredevil over there in a crossover that worked because Matt visiting She-Hulk's adjusted to She-Hulk's style, its genre. And they did the same thing with Yusuf on this one. He wasn't playing a Miss Marvel character. He was playing Yusuf in Matt Murdock's world. And I think that is the perfect way to do crossovers like this. If it's a more serious, whoever the main hero is, the visitors adjust to their genre. And I think it gives you a lot of playfulness. It gives you a lot of variety you can use to interpret characters. It gives you a lot of vision. Maybe lets you not take things too seriously, if for God's sake that we might allow that to happen. But I really love that he was not the goofy character in this. He was just him, slightly toned down to the more grounded Daredevil tone. And I thought that really worked. And I'm really glad they kind of persisted that even in his kind of funny moments, they still kept it really grounded down into this. And I think it certainly saved me from getting a whiplash of tonality.
Yeah, as soon as I didn't know who he was. I thought, for a second, I was just like, oh, he's just another whatever. But it was when he reacted to him not knowing who she was that made me go, oh my gosh, that's him.
Yeah.
Because why would he react like that? Now he's like, wait, Khan? It just completely went right past me because I wasn't looking for it.
Exactly. And same way.
Yeah.
It caught me by surprise, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. And I think he's still him. He's the way that he had to be calmed down and everything. Like, this is not, this is throwing like a G-rated character into an R-rated episode, because there was plenty of violence and fucks to go around, pardon my French, but this was a big adult episode, and I like that they were able to use him, make the bank manager a more interesting character, and it opens up the opportunity later on for Miss Marvel and Daredevil to meet. Now, I just want to clarify, I don't want a Daredevil meets Miss Marvel dinner episode. I don't want it. If he goes to her, if she has a season 2 and he shows up, great.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that would be the way to do it.
Yeah. It just doesn't match. Like, if she had showed up maybe at the end, like, hey, my daughter's here, sitting in the bank or whatever, waiting for him or something, that would have been cool too. But the way that they handled it, it wasn't too much. It was just a reference, and we go, oh yeah. You don't have to know the Miss Marvel show or have seen it to be like, who is this guy? They explain it, and it moves on. He's a assistant bank manager, and that's it. It happens to be the dad of a hero.
So again, it can tempt us. It can drop the little things, but it doesn't do any requirement. And you're right. Honestly, having Ms. Marvel over in a Daredevil adventure would be too much. She is way too bitch to deal with the street level stuff that the Double D deals with.
Although, I mean, done right, you could, but
I think he could go to her world.
Like if they wanted to do some one shots that they talked about doing a Punisher one, I wouldn't mind seeing like a team up one shots for certain. Like, I think that's something that Marvel TV, Disney Plus, whatever, could really start looking into, about making some like hour-long adventures, like 50-minute long, because you got to actually think. I see an hour long minus intro, minus who are all these characters, minus 6 minutes of credits, minus
good solid.
So hour 15, so you get an actual hour of a team up episode. That would be really cool for them to do.
Yeah. No. I agree. I mean, that's what I'm saying is I think that you're right. If Ms. Marvel's doing a season and Daredevil shows up and has a bit of an adventure, that would work to me. He could adapt to her world, I think, a lot more than she adapting to his.
Yeah.
Now, the bank heist, again, great villains. We have some great things. There's some plans. There's some stuff going on. Ultimately, we find it's this. They keep saying it's the 1.6, which I am curious about. When we'll talk again when we hit excessive force, because that is the number that Wilson was talking to Luca about. But we never get anything else about this. We get that it's a diamond. They're working for somebody else. I like the fact that keeps it a mystery, that you can insert it and use it, and it can be kind of anyone in that sense.
Yeah, that was a big topic last night while we were watching it. We were trying to figure out who are they talking about, like, because again, we were just going into speculationville, where it's like, who could it be? And it was like, in the end, it was like, it's probably just a guy. It's just a gangster, like that. And I pretty much picked up that they were there because they didn't want to pay for the 1 whatever million dollars, and that they had the line on something, and it should have been easy. And then Matt Murdock is on the scene, and I thought that was really interesting, how that was that. Then it carries over into the next episode where they don't even talk about it, but we know that.
Yeah, we can guess because of the number. Yeah,
he's there to act like, I'm not going to get you the money, but he was gonna give him the money. He just didn't know what else to do. So then he wants to act tough, but we're already jumping ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no. It's great. Sorry, I'm laughing at seeing Rita in the chat asking, do people really go to the bank anymore? I haven't been in a decade. No, we only hit the ATM outside.
I occasionally do. It's weird. I don't feel like, I don't know.
I've had to get a cashier's check, or, I mean, obviously if you're talking to a loan, you just do that all online. No, I'm kidding. That would be a reason why you would have to speak to somebody. But yeah, there should be a lot of people in the bank. It probably would be an easy job to do these days.
Yeah. If there's I'll probably piss off a lot of people who work at banks, but honestly, if there was a place where you didn't need people, it's a bank. Like, banks should be completely automated. There shouldn't be the loan thing is a separate, like, whatever.
Sure.
Like, but otherwise there should be, I don't even know, like, why we have to go into banks.
Sorry, bank tellers. AI is the first one when the little AI robots come out, the bank will be the first one. And they probably would, just, you can imagine, from a security standpoint. We don't have to worry about the human element anymore. Just our fine big balls, our programmer here. He'll take care of it. We'll be completely safe.
Yeah. There's too many banks anyway.
Let's see. Now, I do have to say, while I like that it was contained, and I think it kept this episode effectively low cost. I mean, it's like a few rooms inside the bank, some extras, a little bit on the outside shot. Definitely some of the outside police moving camera action stuff, I thought started looking pretty cheesy. I was like, you got like some 70s like TV show going on in the middle of this Daredevil adventure. But I think the big standout to me, at least within this episode, was Matt's fight with the bank robber, Red. I think he was the red top one.
Well, first you got the stairway fight.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
sorry. Okay. Because I was almost like, ooh, they could have done like the one-shot hallway bit for this, would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But they pulled it off all really nice. They kept the tension, tried to keep quiet and take the guy out while the shotgun is. Oh,
that was really cool because, I mean, we're waiting for the big fight. We realized, wait a minute. He's trying to be, he doesn't want to be noticed doing anything, but he has to be quiet. He can't make any noise or otherwise this all falls apart. And that was a really, really, again, just, that was Daredevil. Like, that was just, like, it was really, really cool. And the whole breaking into the safe with ease, like, just who are you? Like,
no, seriously.
What kind of lawyer are you? A really good one.
Yeah. And I was really sitting there for a moment like, gee, Yusuf, maybe you shouldn't be talking so much. We give the man a moment of concentration here.
Yeah, that was when he was trying to stall too. That part was like that went on a little bit too long.
Yeah.
I don't think we needed to hear all the lame excuses because yeah, maybe the guy is told not to kill anybody right now, but in a movie, the bank manager or Yusuf would have been like busted up,
Oh
arm
yeah, no,
broken.
he would have
He would
had
have broke him in
stock
two.
to the face.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you're right. I mean, that could have toned down. But again, for everything within the episode,
yeah.
I think they did it really well. I think pacing wise, they kept it going. Yeah, they did give us that awesome fight. God, even that shot with the shotgun's going down, and he's got to do the pull, full reach, grab. It's like, yeah.
It reminded me of having to grab the scene in De Palma's Untouchables, where he's got to where the crib.
With the crib's going down, he's got to save the baby.
He's got to grab the thing at the same time. I don't. That's what again popped into my head. I felt like there was a lot of influences of other films in this, but if they did, they picked. They did a good job.
Yeah. At this point, we will say, quality wise, we'll classify it as an homage.
Yeah.
Because you pulled it off. Yeah, and then we get kind of the quick wrap up. We do get another little secondary, outside Daredevil fight where honestly, I think Matt would have taken this guy a little bit faster. But he's rusty. Okay, we can go with that. He's got to warm up. He's got to get back into things. It takes him a moment. And much like we were talking about in the Severance 2 season finale episode, you can catch over on Smirking Gun Reviews right now. That leg crack at the end of that fight, felt it.
Mm-hmm.
They did that right. Ow.
Yep.
And then of course we get the fact that he has switched out the candy for the diamond, so the girl has nothing, but he does leave Yusuf a nice little gift in the perfect, again, final comics camera shot. Take that, print it, Comic Sans it, and that is the effective end of a issue shot there.
Yeah, I mean, him doing that probably really puts a feather in the cap of Yusuf. He's the guy who found the diamond. He gets to put that back. He, and in a robbery where he, like this actually is, he's going to be considered a hero. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is more Miss Marvel at some point that they bring that up.
And I do got to give the episode kudos. The fact that, because we were laughing, my wife and I were watching this though, like, well, he's definitely getting the loan at the end of this.
I said the same thing.
And they didn't give it to him.
Yep.
And even Yusuf said, I hope you're not here because of all this, because we still can't. But he turns it around, is like, yeah, but maybe I can help you find a way to make your business a little more profitable. Well, maybe we can do some things. To me, that's great. Again, it's the Marvel, the world's bigger. Everything's all connected. People go back and forth. And I think it's a nice way to, again, not reward Matt in the, I took it away, but now you've proven your worth. It's like the bank is one thing, but I, as an individual, would now like to make that extra step to help you. And I think that's really a stronger character statement overall.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else about With Interest that you want to touch on or hit?
No, just I really liked. I like bank heist movies, so I really dug it. Even though I was like the comic book fan of me liked this one. The all the little moments and it being shorter didn't matter to me because it was focused.
Yeah.
And that's again, anytime Disney can make a focused episode, it's going to be standout.
Yeah. And to me, honestly, that's why these two episodes where I was like, wow, they're giving us two. And I'm like, oh, they're a little shorter episodes. I'm like, but that's okay. because it gives me a couple little bite-sized bits I don't feel like wanting because I get 2 of them. So, I mean, honestly, I think that this was a smart choice of theirs to do.
I was fine. If it was just one episode, I still would have been fine. Because that end, like the every little bit of it ending with the diamond, I was fine. I could have waited till next week.
Sure. I
I
mean,
didn't feel ripped off. If that's that's the problem with what we talk about with these things is by the end of other episodes of what they've been doing, we do feel ripped off. We do feel unsatisfied. And hopefully Disney plus Marvel, who, whatever, learns focus.
yeah.
Just focus.
Well, even so much as, and again, talking about Severance Season 2, you can catch our full season discussion over on Smirking Gun Reviews. The Cobell episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That everybody was like, oh, is this filler stuff? It's like, no, that was a perfect, small, tight, strong episode that did exactly what it needed to do.
And I was thinking that about this too, is like, this is what is kind of a filler episode is.
Yeah, but it's fun.
It's good. It's good, but this is kind of more filler than that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, if that's what you're saying. I know that's what you're saying, but I want to make sure that that we really drive that home about that. Episode 7 from Severance is that's how you know the difference. Is both are focused, but one moves the plot. One gives you like character and things that you really need to know about motivations and stuff. This just had him playing with the horn still, knowing all these things are still getting to him. But we've been dealing with that for, a little while now. So It's not really, you know what I mean? No. It was a fun episode, but
yeah,
does it move to be anywhere forward in a season?
Yeah. The overall plot, no, not really, but it was fun. It was good joy. You didn't feel like your time was wasted. And then they drop us another one. They give us excessive force, which, if you want to balance the two out, this does move the overall plot forward in many large bits, with also having kind of a fun little weekly, episode, half and half.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. So we find out that the Muse being the big guy of the graffiti all over town, which are apparently giant. Like, I didn't know they were like the size, like half on a building and everything like that. I don't know how you do that without getting caught. To me, if it was smaller, it makes a little bit more sense, but okay.
I don't know. Maybe he hangs out with Banksy.
But that these are a scary combination of blood and epoxy. And we start finding out at a point that we got, 60, upwards of 60 victims so far that they can guess. They've got 12 murals. There's at least 5 contributors per pure mural. And you got to imagine that for a police department, for a mayor to have a serial killer that has taken out over at least 60 people with possibly more, and nothing about this, that's got to be a little embarrassing. That's got to be a little tough to do. That's got to create a bit of a public relations nightmare. So Fisk decides, no, let's not say anything. And I love his line at the end of that season. I know that I'm kind of jumping a little bit forward here. But what was the line? When sanitation knows there's a serial killer before the police, it's time for change up the protocols. And that's kind of what's going on through this episode. It's a change up of the protocols. We've got the serial killer now who has been in the background, now kind of coming in straight and center, not only being discovered by Fisk and the police, but also coming to Daredevil to Matt's attention through little Angela, who is seemingly wanting to follow in her uncle's footsteps there.
Yeah, which was what we were predicting, kind of where it was headed since he died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I know. I mean, I was just happy I didn't see like the magical amulet around her neck.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was almost expecting that to happen, and maybe that is where we're going to end up going kind of at the end, is there's going to be like a legacy kind of idea, which isn't a bad thing to establish in Marvel. But we also get another little sneak shot, much of we did before White Tiger became more prominent, which to me is making this a little bit more hopeful, just because I enjoyed so much Hawkeye, is our swordsman. Come on, take a look at this video, man. He's got a sword. He's fighting things in the back here. It's amazing. I love doing that. The fact that we got to see him later on at Fisk's attempt to woo the truly rich and powerful, I really enjoyed. I'm getting to see how the idea was to start populating the Marvel universe a little bit more, and I like the idea of doing that. I think they should have been doing little things like this all along, and I know that it takes a while to establish stuff, but now that we have gone through this big 4 or 5 phase or whatever on Marvel Plus, I would like to see little things like this happen a little bit more. Which is also a great reason of why you don't kill bad guys at the end of a season or an adventure. You can reuse them. They're recyclable, okay? Let's think green when we're talking about bad guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tony Dalton.
Yeah.
I mean, I like how they showed him showed somebody briefly in like a black. He looked like he looked like Princess Bride pirate.
Oh yeah,
he
did have a little Dread Pirate Roberts there.
But it's Tony Dalton, and just I love seeing my Better Call Saul people, Breaking Bad universe people, and him being a billionaire, him being, like already rich. It just fits. He's but nobody knows. We know.
Right.
I like that aspect of it.
Yes.
I don't know if the Strom wins. The characters from the Zdarsky, well, they're in the Marvel universe. The billionaires from the first appeared, I believe, in the Zdarsky run of Daredevil, who were the twins. I thought that the one woman and man that was talking to him might be the Stromwinds.
Right.
They had the vibe of once she said, we decide who eats, I was like, oh, this might be her. They didn't say it was her, but in like Zdarsky's run, Kingpin's bad, but they're worse. Like they proved to, because Kingpin, as messed up as it is, Kingpin actually believes he's helping.
Right.
They don't care about helping anyone but themselves. And it's very, very topical right now.
Oh yeah. No,
you know what? Screw that. It's always been topical. We just never talked about it.
It is, if not even more topical now, for sure. And yet, actually, let's play a little bit about this, because outside of kind of, we get our big final fight with Muse and the Daredevil thing and so on, which we'll get on. So much of what we're seeing in this is Fisk realizing how small he is. And to me, that's what made this interesting. This became the challenge that I think that Fisk needed. More so, I remember when Vanessa had said, I'm not afraid of you, but shouldn't I be? But should I be? There is no danger. And that is what's happening with Fisk in this. When Lucas shows up at the beginning, hey, I'm not paying the 1.6. Now, Fisk does his Fisk and quietly does it because he's trying to maintain that properness of of being mayor, but you could feel all of that frustration and everything coming in, that lack of challenge. And then he gets pushed in front of these really wealthy people. They actually, it's like, anywhere else, it's like, no. These are the really rich and powerful. You think all of your mob stuff was something? You think even being mayor is something? That's all nothing PPP stuff. Again, there's like 720 people that are the richest people in the world living in this country, and they kind of command and control everything. The rest of us are just living in their shadows, thinking it's just, an overcast day. And I love that he gets kind of put down and put in his place in this, because I think that becomes the challenge that he has now looked for, that now there is something else to he's mayor and it's not really working, but now there's another point to aspire to aim to. Here is someone else, another group to conquer. And even if it's not an immediate thing, I think it has gotten his ire up. Do you think it's wanting to be that, or being frustrated about who they are and wanting to take them down? What do you think that's driving Fisk in this kind of shift here?
Well, I think you nailed it. I mean, again, in the Zdarsky run, he's a super villain. We know he's a super villain. You know what I mean? Like, he's used to doing whatever, like being the guy. And then when he is forced to, he's, for a good chunk of it, he's really trying to stay, keep himself of any kind of blame, or have any way that anybody can touch him from maybe something that he orders. It's not until, again, the Strom wins that they tell him you work for us. We allow you to operate. And they even said so in this. Just takes a phone call, man. Well, you just got to call the right person and you're out. You're out of that mansion. And just knowing that he can't do it. And it's basically, when is the mask going to slip? In front of who is the mask going to slip, really? Sure. I mean, what kind of how public is Fisk's, crack going to be? But yeah, he's just frustrated because he's realizing more and more that, like, I'm doing things the right way and it's not going to work because these people don't want it to. And they're not going to help him fix the city because they don't care.
Right.
And so,
well, it reminded me a lot of his PR guy, or his I guess the chief of staff. I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
But she was saying to Daniel, I was here before you and Fisk. I will be here long after you. This is how it is. And now we're running into the same type of thing. They're like, what? You're passing through. You're going to show up for a little bit, but you're going to go. You're not anything. You're a fly by night. You're this week's action. How much you could really see that how much his existence is transitory to all of these people. And I think that goes against everything that he kind of believes himself to be.
Yeah. Well, it's a pretty obvious correlation to the Mango Man.
Yeah.
We have in charge now. He's basically, he's just a puppet who has a massive ego and will basically is being run by other people. And it's just that the shit that comes out of his mouth is insane.
Well, and it's showing that hunger for power will never end. I mean, and that's always the warning is, the classic poem is, first they came for the gypsies and I did nothing because I wasn't one of them. And then they came for this group and I did nothing because I wasn't for one of them. And then they came for me, but there was no one left to go after. That's why all of this stuff is eventually unstable. And why this will all end up badly. Sorry to drift into politics. The fact is this type of pursuit is insatiable.
Yeah.
There is never enough. There's never a point where you go, I have accomplished my goal. There's always more to grab onto. And, eventually you destroy the very foundation under which you stand. And in that sense, both Fisk and Matt through this episode, who have been desperately trying to, in their own way, do the right thing, toe the line, be legal, not be their true selves, get their push in order to do that. First is, of course, Cherry telling Matt about Muse. Police say there's a serial killer. He's killed a whole bunch of people. Now he gets actual numbers. Before, when Hector Zeus was telling him and letting him know, then it was just like, hey, you can't do it. You got to be safe, whatever. Now with the numbers, now the reality of it, there's much less for him to deny. And at the same time, now Fisk has to go after this group and is having that thirst for power to come back. He goes and gets the worst of the cops to work for him. And I put down before he even said about it, I'm like, he's getting the vigilantes of the cops. And like in the next second, Fisk goes, my anti-vigilante task force. And it's like, of course, they are both going in the exact same directions or opposite directions, or, however you want to look at. Fisk is now realizing as the mayor, he can use the force of law as his gang, as opposed to using a gang or undercover stuff. You can use the powers of government in order to punish his enemies. Sound familiar?
Yep. Although the task force is where I had a bit of I have a bit of a comic book problem with this.
Yeah.
Just because Cole North is they now okay, because we don't know the full story. We don't know where it's all gonna go. I'm hoping that Cole North is a plant, because in the comics, again, introduced in Zdarsky's run,
right,
Daredevil #1, I believe, of Zdarsky's run about 5 or 6 years ago when it first started. This guy came from Chicago, and he is a good cop. He is not a crooked cop. He is not somebody who made a mistake and somehow gets to be a cop in New York. This guy comes to New York and is berating people for siding with vigilantes. He would be willing to work with somebody like Fisk because he believes vigilanteism is wrong, but he's not there because he did something wrong. So to me, they're already starting off on the wrong foot with this character, and they're ruining him. To me, he could just be anybody, in my opinion. Why he doesn't have to be anybody that we know. And I don't want to hear, well, we wanted to change it up for the people who have read if the people who read the books want Cole North from the books.
Well, not to mention,
I don't want
that's
Bullseye
the Easter egg.
Like somebody else's power set. Like if Bullseye had Cyclops' laser beams or something. It kind of, and if you don't know the book, then it doesn't really matter. But it matters to me because that guy had to go on his own journey to finally realize that sometimes somebody like Daredevil is necessary. And even though it's all fictional world, and if we had vigilantes in our, like real vigilantes in our world, it'd be a nightmare. It'd be an absolute nightmare. But we're not talking about our world. And so I kind of hope that this guy is there to secretly bring Fisk down, because his whole, like, North's whole thing was like, I'm going to clean the police department up too. He goes at, like, he is unliked. He is attacked by cops. He messes them up when they try to come and kill him for being a good cop. When other cops try to kill him, he stands up and Daredevil stands up for him. And he sees like the real problem are the cops
Right.
that he's running with. And so I hope that somehow there's more to this story that's going to open up. But I'm a little concerned because I didn't think we would get a resolution of Muse, where it's not really a resolution, but like usually first time heroes meet the big villain, he gets his ass handed to him because he doesn't know how to do things.
Well, yeah, hold on to that for a quick second, because I definitely want to drive onto that. But I didn't want to say that just I don't know Cole North from the comics.
Yeah.
Unfamiliar at all. Knew this was somebody to pay attention to because they specifically called him out.
Yeah.
You did this, and we'll give you a history, and here's your little Destructo background little sheet, and so on. And you're right, because he seemed to be like, you know, I was a great cop, but I did something wrong, and now I had to change cities and go on. To me, that is an undercover story if there ever was one.
Yeah.
We're going to fake that you did something bad so you can keep your name and go on and be, yeah. So you're right. I hope that they show that he is an undercover and that he's against the cops, and that gets to be kind of a support. And you're right. For somebody that might even believe that vigilantism is bad and then be working with or partnered or saved or a cooperative engagement with Daredevil to see a larger picture, or that, you know, things can be different. That would be an interesting arc, because you're right. Don't take a character's name and then give him completely opposite characteristics to keep people on their toes, because the only thing you're doing that is the small group of people that, like you said, want to see the actual character and don't need to be surprised for, you know, have their expectations subverted. But yeah, Muse. I do like Matt's little arc of weighing everything and then finally just fuck it. Yes, that's where you use your fuck. Little things like that.
The girl's in danger.
The girls, yeah.
I mean, what's important is what we've seen Matt like struggling with, where what we'll see even in this is he's focusing on, he gets caught up in the bad guy and not the people he's supposed to save.
Mm-hmm.
The bank heist was a good way, you could say, of reminding Matt, I'm here to save the people. I'm not here to, like, I got to stop these guys, but I first got to make sure that no one gets killed. And
you know, that's a really good window to put up with Fisk in his evolution, because you're right. The focus has to be not on my antagonist. It has to be on the people that I'm saving. And I think that would be the change for Fisk, who is trying to save the people, but gets lost on getting his revenge or stopping the vigilantes and not protecting the people. I think that would be a perfect kind of comparative differential between those two characters.
Yep.
That's, yeah, wonderful. Wonderful, Rob.
Thanks.
Yeah. You did a good job. I'm going to put a gold star up here for you.
Cool.
Yeah. No. But seriously, those, I mean, because those are the important kind of characters, and especially for Fisk and Daredevil, we are seeing they are so similar and their paths are following a similar thing. Obviously, even in this, the whole editing, we have Fisk's, you know, being reborn the same way we're having Daredevil being reborn through this scene. And you're right, it is the, what am I doing worried about me and being Daredevil or all this? Somebody is in danger and I'm the only one that can go and stop them.
Yeah, I mean, 60 people are dead because he wasn't out on the streets.
Yes. And he was trying to stop Hector from doing it, who was there in many ways, as he said, because Daredevil wasn't there anymore. Somebody has to be here.
Yep.
So yeah, how much more can you abdicate your responsibility if you want to view it that way? And yes, I really was hoping, like, why don't I know this? Well, he has some way to hide and the track down. There would be more things. Nope, he just goes down to the train because it was at G and then runs past it, and we have our fight. It's like, okay, I realize it's short and you're trying to be efficient, and I get that, but I also feel I like the idea that there might be something with Muse that keeps him hard to track. And maybe we'll get into that more, but
Yeah, I was bummed out. Because I don't know if we needed the fight, or I don't know if we needed it to be. I think what would have been interesting is if Matt gets really hurt, or in some way he when he's got him hanging there, and he's hearing her heartbeat, just like Foggy's.
yeah, no, I
And
thought
he's
that was good.
focusing on the villain. He's hurting him just like they flashed earlier to him and Foggy and Bullseye and throwing that guy off the roof. Getting his justice. Letting the devil out and realizing I got to let this guy go. I got to save her. She's bleeding out. This guy stuck this thing in her. We still don't know. I guess the good thing is we still don't quite understand this guy. We still don't know if he has powers other than I told Bill, he reminded me of Ray Park who played Darth Maul.
Yeah.
He moves real fast. He's got this interesting gait to him, little physicality, but we don't know anything else still. Maybe there's something, I don't know, if the reflection probably from the lights of the tunnel and the subway were why his eyes were red. I still want to hope that this guy's there's something more here that we're going to explore. Because we've only got 3 episodes left, and I was saying, oh well, there's no way we're gonna resolve this, and by the time the season's, oh no, he's already there. I was like, what did he do? Like ride the top of a subway until he happened to hear something? Like,
yeah, Rena's in the chat asking the same thing. I thought I missed a scene. How did he find him?
Yeah,
I think literally, was it Angela? Told him, yeah, it's down by the tracks off G Street or something like that. That's where I'm going to check out. And like, that's how we got down there. But that's the hand wave.
I thought, like, if she knows, why wouldn't other people know? Wouldn't he be really easy to find? Did a whole, like, you know what I mean? Like,
never mind, you're thinking too much. Look, fight action.
Look over here. There's the swordsman. Yeah, if you get bogged down in all of that, yes. But it's great seeing Matt fight. These are edited interestingly, though. I don't know how much they want to show him in quick flashes in the suit doing cool things. And that's probably budgetary that we don't get to see some really cool things that Daredevil can do.
Right.
Also being a close quarters fight. But I don't know. Oh, I hope that they start getting some, they start showing more of the action, money in the budget for action sequences for some of this. And yet the cops are incompetent. Yes. I haven't missed that. We're just.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is add a lot of the bells and whistles to his fight. The Netflix stuff was so grounded, and it was so much just hand-to-hand things, and now they're trying to use more of, his batons and the grapple and the things like that, and the kind of big, Anthony Mackie flip kicky type kind of things that are visually very exciting, which I don't mind them doing. But you're right, it does give them a little bit kind of a different feel to it. I certainly like them more than their parkour shots, which I still dislike.
Yeah.
Even that shot of him going across the thing, I was just like, God, that just looks fake.
Yeah, just show him running on the roof close up.
Yeah. Get a couple parkour guys and a building and do an overhead shot and just track him. Just sorry, those are the things that it just visually annoys the out of me. It really does. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. I do think that at least they're fighting as it comes together while they're doing a lot of big fancy flippy stuff, and bells and whistles.
And then meanwhile, you got Fisk beating the hell out of that guy. I don't know if he's dead. I don't think he's dead, but
no, I don't think he's dead either. I thought I saw him, in fact, do a little twitch kind of at the end. But that was, but no, that, I mean, honestly, that was a great thing because, of course, he's coming down with the axe, and the implying is that, he's going to go kill this guy. But it's like, nah, I thought you should have like a chance. But it's his willingness to kind of open up, much like we got that great shot of Matt halfway through the fight, which I ended up using in my thumbnail, of him just screaming, he's just letting loose. He's letting it all out. All I was thinking was a line from season 1 or 2. It's like, man, those Murdoch boys got the devil in them.
Yeah.
And yeah, a great Fisk fight there. I loved him just beating the crap, and I loved him versus Axe.
He went flying, just one little crack. But I mean, the guy is probably like underweight, underfed. It's still not a fair fight at all, even with an axe. But I'm surprised the guy could even swing it.
But I love that Fisk is fast.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily expect with his size and everything, but that first swing, he's like, whoop, crack. He's right in it. It's not large, lopey, just pure strength. He's got technique with him now.
Yeah, I mean, I think Frank Miller might have been the one that established that, where you think when Daredevil meets Fisk for a big fight that it's going to be, he's big, but Daredevil's got all these powers. He's a big guy, but then all of a sudden he moves, and he trains. He's got all this money. He doesn't, he's not weak, and plus we've been seeing that his knuckles have been red.
Yeah, he's been doing something.
Yeah, he's been hitting something. So
maybe he's just been beating on Adam, and that's Adam didn't look like he'd been beaten, though. He just looked like he'd been starved.
Yeah,
and
this probably just punches walls.
Yeah. Bill's in the chat prediction: Vanessa will find Adam at some point. I think you're right. However, Bill, I will counter predict that Vanessa kills Adam, because now she has Fisk back and Adam can't measure up, because she wants gangster Fisk back. Yeah,
I can see that. She goes down there. He's like, oh my God, you're going to get me out. Or like, yeah.
Well, and even Fisk comes down and she does it right in front. It's like, yes, but I have my man back. Mm-hmm. You're nothing, just something dismissive. I don't know. There's a delicious evilness to him. Thank you, Rita. Yes, you.
Yeah, but we're dark.
So yeah, now I do have to say the one thing I thought, he lets Muse go. He goes, he saves the girl, he does the thing, hits her chest, she wakes up, Muse is gone, and Bill also mentions Muse seems to escape without Daredevil noticing. Maybe that's his powers. I would like for him to be a little more evasive in some manner, but
the sudden disappearance of a person off screen,
that's just,
how many times have we seen that?
Yeah,
they can use it.
Person disappears off screen cliche.
Yeah, just as many times as we've seen that, it could very well be it's open ended. They can write it however they want. Like, oh yes, and then he, did his thing where he's able to,
right.
Homer Simpson into the wall.
No, I'm just.
But I guess
seeing a comical image
disappointed
of
in thinking like, man, he's just a guy. He's just a guy.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to end up being the case.
And I know that's like, Well, yeah, I mean, isn't, like, it's sometimes somehow more impactful because a person's doing it, someone without powers. And it's like, yeah, but it's a comic book show and I want comic book villains. They've done the whole he's just a guy thing enough lately. Just even if he isn't an inhuman, even if they never say where he got his powers from, I don't care. Just give him something that makes him unique to Daredevil, like we described last week when we described his power set. It's perfect for Daredevil.
Yeah.
It's just like Bullseye's perfect for Daredevil. The guy who can't miss against a guy who can't see, and somehow the guy who can't see keeps being able to deflect the guy who can't hit, can't miss things. Like it's, and in this case, it's the guy who you can't be percepted.
The man with heightened senses can't perceive the man who's invisible in that sense.
So if it would have been cool, this would have been okay. This would have been a really interesting way to set it up. Is that what if he doesn't even if he's in the room and Daredevil can't spot him? It's like Jodie Foster at the end of Silence of the Lambs, where she's just going around not knowing that the guy is right behind her.
Yeah. And it would be nice for them to do that, because you're right. I think it would be a nice styling. They've already established in this series magical amulets and shit. If you're going to establish magical amulets, but you're not going to give your main villain at least some of his powers from the comics, I don't know what you're doing. I really don't. I think what you're doing is you're missing great opportunities if you're trying to expand your universe this way. So while it annoyed me that he found him so easily, I do appreciate that at least he ran away off screen so that his arc isn't over with, because I would have thought that would have been a total waste.
Yeah, because he really didn't do anything. He just stood around looking creepy and carrying a body or just looking creepy. I mean, he did have those girls. He did kill those girls.
Sure. But you can't have so I've established my anti-vigilante Crusoe. He's caught right there. Oh, yeah. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Spider-Man! Friendly neighborhood Daredevil.
Because I mean, this letting him go it gives Fisk even more ammo now, right? Or get him getting away. Because if it gets out that this girl was rescued by Daredevil and that Muse ran away, there's possibility that no one's gonna know. Like Matt's not gonna tell anybody that he stopped this person. Is the girl gonna tell anybody that he saved her? Is it gonna be news that Muse is suddenly in the wind or not? That's a big part of it. If it's out there that Muse got away because of Daredevil, Fisk can use that to say, look at the guy, he'll ignore the fact that he saved a person's life to say that he didn't stop him. My people will,
I think it would be too early to do that personally, because then you could have Fisk being like, well, Matt, I said to stay away from what you were doing, but now you're Daredevil again, so I got to send all the cops after you. I think it's too quick to go in that direction, though I did think for half a second when she goes, Daredevil, you saved me. He's like, yeah, you're safe. I thought that she was going to go, Matt, is that you?
Okay. I just thought of something. Remember when he told the cop, you're going to need more guys next time? He's got more guys.
He does have more guys now.
I predict a beatdown or a possible beatdown. I don't know. We'll see. Or Matt just beats up more cops, which is fine by me. But in the show, not in real life.
But I mean, that is kind of a fun setup. Is he tells that, and of course now he's going to come back with more cops. It's that's well setting up. I like that. So yeah, we effectively now have Daredevil finally back on our Daredevil show. and the Kingpin now really embracing the dark and the light of his position as mayor. And I'm honestly, I'm really curious where we're going. What was this? 5 and 6. We got 3 more episodes left.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stuff to do, and we know this is only season 1 of 2 seasons. So, still a lot of stuff that can happen. I do hope the whole Muse things come kind of a bit. Yeah, I'm not really sure what their next stage is, but I think this is earned. This is earned. You know, be excited for what's happening next week.
Yep.
All right. Well, any last little thoughts or things before we get out of here? We're almost right on the hour mark.
Well, we got to talk about Avengers Doomsday.
Yes, thank you for that. So this morning, social media got kind of lit up with a big Marvel announcement, which basically came down to a bunch of chairs with actors' names on them, all pairing across, and these are all the people that are going to be in the new Avengers Doomsday film. Okay. A lot of expected names, some very unexpected names in my head. And
yeah.
Look,
look, we don't know the context yet, but still.
I'm going to say it straight out. Good. And with all due respect.
Yep.
Can we please move on from the motherfucking Fox X-Men? Those people are all amazing. They're great. They did their jobs. It's been years. I want new people. I want new iterations. I want new interpretations. I do want a tiny fucking Wolverine, okay? I want people that I don't expect to be. I want to be kind of surprised. Look, those X-Men films were fine, and they opened up the world. They showed that we were at a technological stage where we could actually start to tell these stories, and they did. They were the first. They did great stuff. There were some good stories in there. There were also a hell of a lot of bad ones, and I think through it all, while they ended up being good mutant movies, they were not honestly good X-Men stories.
Yep.
And I don't. Look, the whole Wolverine and Deadpool, fine. You get your one-off. You get the love affair of these two actors and these two characters doing this thing. Fine. I was good with that. To me, that was the great. We're done. Bye-bye. Motherfucker. And part of me at this point is like, is this Secret Wars Part 1 and 2, but Doomsday is Part 1 and Secret Wars is Part 2? Are they just taking that whole big story? I don't know what the fuck they're doing anymore. And I'm generally fine.
It's because before it was all earned, this is put together to make several $1 billion.
Yeah.
They saw what worked in Deadpool and Wolverine, which is for even the best fans, including me, who wanted this for, I'm not going to say my whole life because I didn't know until I was like 13 or 14 about any of this. But then once I knew, like, I wanted it, and they gave it to me, and it didn't need to have some important plot. It needed to just be fun.
Yeah.
It was rewarding the audience, and it was designed to make $1 billion, and it still entertained the hell out of me. But it was also earned not just through Hugh Jackman's years as Wolverine, not just Ryan Reynolds developing his Deadpool. It was also them developing their chemistry without being in those movies together, in commercials and everything else that they set up for years before this movie. And I am pretty sure that the part of the whole thing of that bromance was to go, look, we're gonna make it so that people want to see us so bad together that when it comes out, we're going to make that $1 billion. And it worked, and it was all earned. This does not feel earned. This feels desperate.
Yeah. And look, you can't do they're in the opening scene and then you kill them all. Doom kills them all off
Right.
as they start to collect the things, because then everybody will get really pissed at you. They're going to see that as the multiverse of madness scene where it's like, hey, we finally got to see Charles Xavier and fucking dumb faces, fantastic Miss Reed Richards. And then they're gone in 2 seconds later because, of course, they are.
Also, the first time, I'm assuming that Doom's not in the new Fantastic Four movie, right? I don't think.
I don't
We'll
think
find
so.
out, but it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like it.
He
The
shouldn't
first
be.
time the Fantastic Four meet Doom, it shouldn't be some multiverse Robert Downey Jr. version. And I said that I've said this a long time ago. I said this back when they cast him as Doom, as a Doom, and the Russo brothers also have not had a good track record making movies since Endgame.
Yeah.
Their track record was established on shows like Community and other TV shows with ensembles where they built their reputation at handling big casts. And then they got the Winter Soldier and they nailed it. And they got Civil War and they nailed it. And then they were given the big keys to the Avengers movies, and they nailed it. But it's because of all the groundwork that was built before that, same as Deadpool and Wolverine. That's kind of what my point was. All of those things were earned. Now we've had 7 years since Endgame. They've had nothing but failures in every single movie that they've made, including Deadly Class Season 1 that they produced, which I still say is awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, but it didn't.
But it bombed, and there was never any more of it. And now here they are like, well, we're bringing them back because they did so good in those movies. And it's like, well, now it just looks like more like they know how to wrangle a cast together and have an ensemble like it.
Well, I think they do work. They've established at least they play very well in this sandbox.
Yeah.
I just think they're just really good in this sandbox.
Yeah.
And with the combination of, the structure of the Marvel Universe, Kevin Feige as a producer, and them connecting and pulling these things together, that might be the magical shit, in which case they should just be like the standard Marvel fucking directors. That's the one thing I have that's been surprised me so much over all these years is you don't have a cadre of these are the Marvel directors, cinematographers, music people that know the thing. It's like every time they've got to fucking roll the dice again. And it was exciting in the early stages and kind of paid off in the middle stages. But the past few years, not quite so much. So yeah, I'm sorry.
And I also have to agree. I don't want James Marsden back as Cyclops. I didn't like him. All right. I like James Marsden. I didn't like his Cyclops. And it wasn't just because the character really wasn't given much. It's because he wasn't good at it.
I don't want all of these characters in there. What's James got to be in his 40s, 50s now? Remember, X-Men was 25 fucking years ago.
Yeah. And they're dragging Ian McKellen back.
Yeah.
And they're bringing Alan Cumming back. And I'm supposed in my head, I'm like, Nightcrawler. But then I'm like, but why? Even
but you're still planning
his name up there. I was like, but why?
Because you're still planning a one-off.
Yeah.
Even if these are main, they're not going anywhere. That universe is dead or whatever the heck that they're planning on setting this all up, because you can't take these characters to make whole new bits of movies. So why establish them? Why waste that introduction of the X-Men on throwaway versions that are just there for nostalgia.
Yep.
Because money. Yes,
Money.
Rena, we know.
I mean, I said it. It's to make billions of dollars.
So
it's designed. All those chairs should have just said, like, Chris Hemsworth, and he'll help us make 500 million. You know, maybe Susan Storm's a couple 100,000. Pedro Pascal, couple of million.
We should do that. A pan across and just have a cha-ching, cha-ching. How much each one is adding on to the perspective, kind of like.
And it should have started small and went up instead of, I don't know if it wasn't in alphabetical order, right?
Honestly, I've only seen little bits. I didn't bother to watch the whole thing. I just then saw what it was, and then I got the Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, and I was just like, "That's it." Why?
I as soon as I saw Kelsey Grammer, I went, "Oh, okay." I liked what they did with him before. Like, wasn't he? He was in a post-credit scene for what? Captain Marvel.
Or the Marvels.
The Marvels.
I think it was the Marvels.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing. I don't even remember.
Yeah, because Photon goes through the universe in order to through, and so she effectively goes into a new universe, and then they're like, "Is this the multiverse?" No.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, folks. So Daredevil, yes, Doomsday, honestly, is starting to lower itself on my expectation list. And why
I'll tell you what,
do that?
You know how I say no trailers, right? Because I don't want to have things ruined. I want to go in and be like, I'll watch the Doomsday trailer because I don't care.
Yeah. No, I
if I cared, I would be telling everybody I'm not watching it. I'm already there day one. Now I'm telling you, I don't care.
They're making me care less. I won't say that I'm at the don't care stage. I'm definitely caring less. I was already on the budge. I love Robert Downey Jr. I was already on the fence with him as Doom.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
Same Daredevil time next week, folks. Same Daredevil station. And we'll be talking more Daredevil. All right. Take it easy, y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I have to hit all these buttons.